Yesterday, Michigan progressive activist Abdul El Sayed narrowly defeated Democratic Congresswoman Haley Stevens in the Senate Democratic primary in Michigan by around a percentage point. Democrat State Senator Mallory McMorrow, who dropped out of the race back in July but remained on the ballot, got 4% of the vote, which turned out to be significant. Said will face former Republican Congressman and Trump supporter Mike Rogers in the November general election. General election polls show that Rogers would beat Said if the general election was held today. Said, who's not a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, was endorsed by the organization as well as by leftist podcaster and influencer Hassan Piker. Haley Stevens conceded the race to Said earlier this morning. Missouri Representative Wesley Bell won the Democratic primary rematch against former Representative and DSA activist Cori Bush. Bush, who is very outspoken in her progressive views, was a member of the progressive group known as the Squad, while serving in the House of Representatives. Bell won the primary rematch with 59% of the vote against Bush, who got just 36.9%. In Kansas, United Methodist pastor and author Adam Hamilton easily won the Democratic Senate primary, garnering 35% of the vote. He will face incumbent Republican Senator Roger Marshall in the general election this November. Kansas has not had a Democratic senator since the Great Depression. In Virginia, two establishment-backed candidates won their primaries in GOP-held districts that the DCCC is hoping to flip in November. In Virginia's 1st Congressional District, Shannon Taylor, who is serving as the Commonwealth's attorney in Virginia's Henrico County, won the Democratic primary. She will face off against the longtime Republican incumbent Rob Whitman in the November general election. In Virginia's coastal 2nd Congressional District, a swing district with a large military population, former Representative Elaine Luria, a retired U.S. Navy commander, won her primary last night, setting up a rematch against Jen Kiggins, a fellow U.S. Navy veteran. And now my word. I have a couple of takeaways from the results of yesterday's primary elections. My first takeaway is what I would like to call the establishment strikes back, to use a Star Wars reference. Much ink has been spilled regarding the war for control of the Democratic Party between the Democratic Socialist left and the moderate establishment, sometimes referred to as corporate Democrats by the progressive activists. Last night, after a couple of months of seeing DSA insurgents winning key House and Senate primaries, several moderate candidates supported by the DCCC won in Virginia and elsewhere. In addition to former progressive Congresswoman and a member of the activist squad, Cori Bush, getting decisively vanquished in her primary rematch against incumbent Wesley Bell. Even in Michigan, where the DSA-backed Abdul El Sayed pulled out a narrow victory in the Senate primary, the race was much closer than the polling was suggesting, with undecideds into the race appearing to have broken for Haley Stevens in the final days. My other takeaway is what I will call the rise of the Christian left. Adam Hamilton, the senior pastor of the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection, which has several locations in the greater Kansas City area, joined Democratic Senate candidate and Presbyterian seminarian James Tallarico in Texas, along with Senator Raphael Warnock, who is the senior pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, as the political arm of a surprisingly strong progressive Christian movement.